Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Called the Tricky Triangle by some, Pocono Raceway is utterly unique. Situated in the Pocono Mountains of northeastern Pennsylvania, the 2.5-mile tri-oval features 3 very different turns connected by straightaways of varying lengths. Turn 1 is banked at 14 degrees, Turn 2 is banked at 8 degrees, and Turn 3 at 6 degrees. Pocono's main straightaway is the longest on any North American speedway at 3,740 feet. The Long Pond straightaway stretches for 3,055 feet between turns 1 and 2, while the run from turn 2 to 3 is a mere 1,780 feet. The resulting speedway poses special demands on drivers and engineer alike, for a chassis that works well on the steeply banked turn 1 will be less than ideal for the flatter turn 2, let alone turn 3. The downforce necessary for maximum grip in any of the turns will slow a car on the 2 long straightaways, and turn 3 requires heavy braking, in some cases even a gear change, making Pocono Raceway among the world's most challenging speedways. Tonight, it's race 17 of the Vigilante Racing League, and it's next on Track Limits Network. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the virtual Pocono Raceway, Race 17, Season 11 of the Vigilante Racing League. I'm Steve Singer with Track Limits Network, joined in the broadcast booth with Chris Goins. Chris, how you doing?
Doing well, Steve. How are you tonight?
Doing good. Pocono race last night with the Numb Thumbs Racing League went off very well. A little bit longer race distance tonight. Let's look at those race details. 85 laps the distance, 70% fuel load here, so less laps on a full load. Should be, I believe, between 20 and 23 laps on a full load of fuel. 4 sets of tires over the wall instead of 2. No fast repairs, 0 zip zillage, and 1 attempt at a green-white checkered finish if necessary. Track temperature 87 degrees, air temperature nice and cool, 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 65% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and an 11-mile-per-hour breeze. Practice already in the books, qualifying underway or just about wrapped up, really. I think just about everyone has taken the time to this point, with the exception of Andrew Player, Mike Adamson, Jason Gaines, Mike Everidge, Chris Klein, and Chandler Paul. Fun thing about tonight with Chris Goins joining us in the booth, as he has been doing for quite a bit this season, he actually picked up the race win here last night in the Numb Thumbs Racing League. So I guess we'll ask you, Chris, what's the key to success here tonight?
Oh man, that's a loaded question here, Steve. With this triangle-shaped track, none of the three corners are the same. So you have to approach each and every corner differently. So the first corner has some banking to it. You got to get in there and get that thing planted to the bottom. There's a wicked bump getting in that you do not want to hit on that high side. Going down to turn 2, you can kind of take it a little bit more open. That 90-degree corner is you can gain a lot of speed through there. And then turn 3 being as flat as it is, it's just kind of a wide entry, and you just want to make sure that you're maintaining speed down these long straights. You almost run it like a road course, slow in and fast out, as I say.
Right front tire wear, a bit of a thing last night. Drivers having problems really getting the car or truck, in this case, to turn. Did you run into any of that last night? I know you ended up getting that truck in the wall relatively hard last night, but still drove it to the win.
Yeah, so the middle run there, I got the right front a little bit worn more so but that last run towards the checkers, I actually burned off the right rear more than I did the front. So I kind of had the tail end of it yawed out a little bit more, learned to drive it off the right rear and maintain that right front to keep us out of the wall there. I did have a little bit of incident there in the wall, no damage to speak of from it, and just everything worked out in our favor.
Well, with all that said, we're going to see how these drivers handle things here tonight. But before we can do that, let's get to our starting grid. Drivers are getting to the front stretch here in their starting grid position, so let's take a look at it. On the pole position here tonight with a lap time of 53.977 seconds, it's championship contender, the 33 of Alan Vaught, flanked by another championship contender, missed it by almost a tenth and a half, was Dustin Eaton. Row number 2, it's Derek Welch, the number 21, with Josh Bittner in the number 84. Row 3, it'll be Dylan Bryant and Craig Goodenough. Row number 4, John McAdam and Greg Klein. Row 5, John Gallagher and Larry Dickerson. Starting in the 11th position, the 48 of Jack Dixon. 12th goes to Jonathan Osborne. 13th, Russ Kilgore. Albert Anderson will start from the 14th position. 15th starter will be Ricky Wittenberg. Andrew Coffin will start 16th. 17th, Kelly Cool. George Rincon back in action. He'll start in the 18th position. 19th starter will be Greg Dobson. Austin Paul 20th. 21st, Dave Mayberry. Championship contender Kyle Vaught rolling deep in the field from 22nd. Stoney Benfield will be 23rd. 24th, Kevin Hunt. Jason Gaines in the 83 will start 25th. Championship 4 contender Tim Pope 26th. 27th starter, it's Chris Klein. 28th, Mike Adamson. 29th, Andrew Player. Mike Average, 30th. 31st will be Chandler Paul in shotgun on the field in the 32nd position, the number 4 of Dion Jones. It's your starting grid here from Pocono Raceway. Field has already rolled away out of the pits on their first of 1 pace laps before we get to green flag racing. Well, Chris, let's make a pick.
Yeah, let's do it. I don't know. I'll let you go first this time.
I picked Dustin Eaton before, and he let me down, but I'm going to give him another crack. I'll go with the 14.
There you go. That's a good choice there. I think I'm going to go with the 89 of Craig Goodenough.
Goodenough starting back, looks like in the 6th position. Pace truck about to pull into pit lane. Barney with the green in hand. We're ready to go racing from Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Green is in the air. We're off and running. Alan Vaught from the point. field clean through turn number 1. Alan Vaught maintains the top spot over Dustin Eaton, already swapping lanes to try and break that draft up. Eaton helps to tuck back in behind the 33s. They work into the tunnel turn, turn number 2. Now to the short chute, the short run down into turn number 3. Vaught leads lap number 1. Eaton still in the second spot. Bittner third. Welch fourth. Craig Goodenough up into P5. Now, Chris, you did really well last night in the strategy department. Obviously, a little bit of luck rolling into there with the cautions that did not fall on the field. What is the strategy play tonight? Again, less fuel, more tires, but more laps as well. How do you approach this one if you're in this field?
You know, with me, anytime I got, if we're going to get anywhere close to 12 to 15 laps on a run, I'm probably coming down and trying to take some tires. So with this place, I mean, even 5 laps on your tires compared to fresh tires is a huge difference. We saw, last night that I think we did 12 green flag laps. Then the first caution came out, and I was one of maybe 4 people that took tires on that stop, and worked our way back through the pack. But even just on that short amount of laps that were on those tires, it was a huge difference. So it played a big factor in last night for sure. But for me, anytime I'm getting 12 to 15 laps, I'm probably looking for tires at some point. If the caution comes out, of course. Obviously, I'm going to run the thing dry otherwise.
Yeah, with that fuel window being 20 to 23 laps, you're going to need to make a few pit stops here tonight. Field looks pretty well behaved right now. There was a little battle there for a moment between Dustin Eaton and Josh Bittner. Bittner unable to complete the pass, still runs in the 3rd spot. Then Craig Goodenough up to 4th. Welch is now in 5th. For the most part, as you see, the field pretty much single file front to back.
Part of that is obviously being an 85 lap race. You're definitely not going to win it from lap 4, right? But just trying to be patient. You definitely don't want to cook the tires off early. But it's also really difficult to pass here in some regards. The draft is so heavy on the straights that it's hard if you get pulled out beside somebody, but they have a draft in front of them or something like that. Then they're going to be able to keep that position in front of you. So you really have to pick your battles. You almost have to set it up off of a corner and just get a better run down the straights as you can move past them.
Obviously, the Long Pond straightaway being the biggest straightaway here at Pocono. You can get a long run there out of turn 1, but that tunnel turn, not a great place for passing, at least in past experience. It's kind of difficult to run side by side there if you're that outside truck. If you get the nose to the inside, you can almost force that guy up top to check up and kind of give you the position.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a couple of guys message me today asking, a couple tips and stuff. And the first thing I told them was, if you can avoid it, don't run too wide through the tunnel turn. If you're on the inside and you can get, up far enough beside them, then hopefully you can get them to kind of check up. If you're on the outside and you have somebody inside you going into the tunnel turn, then just check out and check up and let it out early to let them in front of you. You definitely don't want to lose that time and run the risk of sticking in the wall coming out.
Seen a couple of guys have some close calls here just a moment ago. Larry Dickerson was very close and might have scraped the wall. I believe that was out of turn 3. Chased the truck down the racetrack, did not spin. These guys are really having to wheel these trucks here tonight.
Yeah, with these fixed setups in these trucks, it was surprising to me because I didn't get many practice laps really at all before the race last night. But it was surprising to me how loose and how free these trucks were from the rip. So, I mean, and it really didn't tighten up that much. I mean, you burn up the right front and it pushes a little bit, but it really didn't tighten up all that much. You're still kind of yawed out with these setups. So I was surprised at how free these things were coming off the corner.
Yeah, speaking of free, there was a moment there just a minute ago. That was Greg Klein having a very close call. Might have got the wall. I don't know if I see any damage on that number 92, but he was very close to turning that truck around. Things are getting a little crazy up here at the front. Alan Vaught pulling the Indianapolis move here, trying to snake his way to the bottom of the racetrack to break that draft from Dustin Eaton. Eaton followed him all the way down there, remains in the tire tracks of the 33. Very good enough working up through the field out of turn 1 alongside Josh Bittner. This would be a battle for third, and another truck hard into the wall. Monster hit for the 2. Russ Kilgore up into traffic, and the caution doesn't come out miraculously. But this is going to be a day ender for Russ Kilgore. Would have been a life ender if it was in real life.
That was a hard hit there. I am surprised that caution didn't come out.
Yeah, he
really
jumped right
up the back of the field
in front of traffic. I got to rewind this because it's not even giving me an event to check to, but we're just going to rewind this. This was a monster hit. Just a moment ago, Kilgore up the racetrack in the marbles, gets the wall on exit, and it just drives straight down. That was massive. Yeah, how that didn't bring a yellow. You know, I'm going to check. I'm wondering if that box didn't get ticked from last week's road course race. We'll double check it to confirm, but yeah, that just seems very odd. Now, full course cautions are turned on. No issue there, just iRacing missed it. Lucky for everybody else to be able to scatter and avoid the 2 there. That was big.
That was heads up driving by everybody that was coming up behind him.
Oh, Eaton up the racetrack, has to put a lot of wheel in it and keep it off the wall. Just about a couple inches really from contact there. Eaton has managed to keep it down, but that's going to beat up those right front tires anytime it happens. It's going to open the door here for Josh Bittner for that second spot. He's alongside. Bittner might get this one done, and he's clear on exit. Let's see if we see the crossover from Eaton. We've seen that out of him a ton. And there he goes, back to the inside here now, down the straightaway. And we're going to see an example of that tunnel turn, who gives and who doesn't. Neither one of them did, and it cost them both. You saw how quickly Craig Goodenough closed the gap on Eaton there.
For the record, neither one of those guys talked about not going too wide through the tunnel.
some action here at the front of the field for the most part, though. Everybody else running single file right now, but Eaton and Bittner continue to fight it out. Goodenough sitting there waiting for an opportunity to pick up one, maybe two extra spots if those guys make mistakes. Greg Klein back in the pack. No, that wasn't Greg Klein. Somebody else stepping out of line. Maybe Andrew Coffin. And it was the 10 of Coffin. Similar circumstance. Gets back in line, continues on. So top five shaken up a little bit here. Alan Vaught still the leader. Then it's Bittner, Eaton, Goodenough, Dylan Bryant. Bryant had a good run last night for a while too. I believe he finished in the top 10 after running laps near the front. Jonathan Osborne working with Derek Welch trying to get a spot, unless that was Welch making a move to the outside. Nevertheless, that battle continues. We'll see if Osborne can put the charge back on the 21 and retake that 6th position. Stream chat busy already. Usual suspects, of course. Albert Anderson, we got Tim McAdam in there. Lori, of course. Osvaldo. Severino, Meha. I've been practicing. Of course, Chris Goins, Ryan Phillips, Jesse Redding. Awful nice of me to have amateur night for Goins. We got Taylor Provax and Juan Valdez. I know it's not the coffee guy, but I think about it every time. Welch had a nose around the outside of the 51 for a moment. Tucks back in line. Battle behind them between Osborne and Dickerson. Dickerson in the number 69 as Osborne now steps out looking for a spot from Derek Welch. I think these guys got tired of running single file. What do you think there, Chris?
Yeah, I think you're starting to see a little bit of a product of some tires getting burned up a little bit more than others, and I think the ones that have been taking it easy towards the latter half of the top 10 are starting to be able to catch up and take advantage. So, but again, as you saw right there with Osborne and Welch, it's hard to make that pass there on the bottom. So this place is tough to make these passes and complete them with these long straights.
Still watching this battle, but Alan Vaught starting to put a little daylight between himself and the rest of the field. Just about a full second back to everybody else. We kind of figured that in practice. Even in qualifying here, a full 10th, maybe almost a 10th and a quarter faster than the next closest competitor. So Alan Vaught certainly has this place figured out. Wouldn't be the first time, though. He's had a strong truck and had what appeared to be a win in the bag go away late through circumstances not in his control. He's got to get this thing to the finish line here tonight. Continue on into Atlanta next week to wrap up this championship.
Don't be surprised tonight with Pocono. It's notorious for becoming a strategy race. Whether it's fuel, tires, whatever, it's notorious for becoming a strategy event.
The field awful small in the rear view of Alan Vaught. Now 1 1/4 seconds back to Bittner and the rest of the VRL trucks. Craig Goodenough now alongside Dustin Eaton for the 3rd spot. Now, the reason I went with Dustin Eaton with my pick, obviously we've seen him be fast in a lot of places, but he's got a pretty good road course background as well. But this being a left turn only track, I'm not going to call it an oval. Obviously, it's shaped like a triangle, but it's also not a road course. However, it does kind of present and race like a road course. You got 3 unique corners. Yes, they're all banked at varying degrees, but we've seen guys that are successful on the road courses tend to run decent here. Connor Zilich picking up a win in the Xfinity Series on Saturday is a prime example.
Yeah, absolutely. These long straights, Steve. Everything is about corner exit speed, just like with road course. You know, it's about how you hit
Eating in the wall.
Eating in the wall. Yeah, it didn't look too bad. As from firsthand experience, I think he's probably okay there. But you know, you can tell he's starting. I think he's starting to get a little tight. That maybe that right front's a little hot for him.
Now, we brought this up a bit last night as well when you were battling with Connor Leach, and how sometimes it's really easy to get these tires heated up, but also really difficult to cool them down under green flag conditions. What techniques can you use to get some lower tire temperatures in them while you're out there in anger trying to pick up positions, or at least prevent losing them?
Yeah, once you start getting those tires hot, I mean, really the only way that I've found to see it is rolling out a little early. I do a lot of trail braking through turn one, just to try and get the car to turn mechanically instead of, with the downforce and things like that. I'm using other techniques other than the steering wheel to try and get the thing to turn. So if you can generate the least amount of wheel input, you can get that to kind of cool off. So trail braking through the corner, lift and coasting a little bit early. Not only are you going to cool down the tires, you're going to save a little bit of fuel too, especially in the draft. So it's hard to do. It takes a lot of discipline to do it, but it's very, very difficult.
Watching this battle between Bryant, Goodenough, and Welch, I thought Welch was going to try to poke his nose there to the inside and go 3 wide between these guys, but thought better of it. They're running single file yet again. Now further back in the pack, we've got another battle shaping up. George Rincon, John Gallagher, Ricky Wittenberg, and others. Kyle Vaught in the mix. This is the 16 machine behind the small group. This for about the 15th spot. "19 laps in, we're approaching our first round of green flag pit stops. It's Kyle Vaught battling with Andrew Coffin. This would be for 16th. Meanwhile, Mike Everidge is pulled into pits. Coffin not wasting much time here. Doesn't have to deal with Kyle Vaught quite as much. He's going to take the spot here from Gallagher as Josh Bittner from the front of the field. He'll come to pit lane. Craig Goodenough as well. So 2 trucks up in the lead draft there. Going to come down and pit for the first time. This will be about lap 20 for them. 21 has gone up on the board. Alan Vaught stays out on the racetrack. Now has a 2.2 second advantage back to Dustin Eaton in second. Tires going on the 84. So 4 tires and fuel, the call for just about everybody up and down pit lane. And Alan Vaught from the lead, and the rest of the field going to follow suit. Few drivers stay out just a little longer. Now, granted, those drivers that have stayed out, they were a little deeper in the field for this first run. So with that, they're in the draft. They get to use a little less horsepower and in turn a little less fuel to make these laps. So they're able to extend that fuel economy a little further. So they'll come down as the 47 goes around. I don't know if that was coming in or leaving. John McAdam going to have some troubles here. Now he's going to have to drive in. Wow, he got lucky there. Oh, he's having a whale of a time. Finally gets it into the pit box so the crew can service the truck. So we got him down and away. He'll get back out there, but a big miscue on pit lane. Now the rest of the front runners here coming down lap 23, they will pit. Dylan Bryant pulls to a stop. We got Vintage Hiker in the stream chat, says undercut might be strong. Definitely. We saw a little bit of that last night. Same tracks, same trucks, different race length, different fuel. But yes, the tires make a big difference here. You get late in that run. As Chris had mentioned earlier, almost 2 seconds of fall off from new to old. Now we're talking a couple of laps difference here, but if we get an opportunity where some guys stay out under a caution versus those that don't, you will see some serious comers and goers.
Absolutely. If you want to try to build up as much of a gap as you can, as you see right here with Alan and Josh. So we're looking at it. Josh pit the lap before Alan, and Alan had a 1.7 second gap to him. So just in that one lap on new tires, he's pulled right up to him here. So obviously Alan will have the 1 lap newer tires, which you may see him be able to take advantage of that a little bit later on. But you can see how well that undercut works. Now, on the flip side, I'm sitting here doing the calculations because, me, I'm always looking strategy. So I'm a little concerned, to be honest, with the 84, the 89, those guys that came in. They came in coming to lap 21, so they were just completing lap 20. They're going to have to save some fuel if that's as far as they're going to go. They're going to have to save some fuel to make it to 85 on just the 3 more stops. It's going to be tough because that's going to put them at lap 80, so that's going to leave a 5 lap there at the end. So whereas the guys that came in at 22, 23, they're going to be able to stretch it, to that 85 mark. So I'm curious to see. That's obviously if we stay green. So we'll see what happens. I'm just obviously always ever evolving strategy thinking.
Going back to that undercut conversation, if you needed a little more evidence to how effective it was, Alan Vaught's total pit lane time just a hair of a tenth above longer than Josh Bittner. However, his pit stop was about 2.5 tenths faster than Josh Bittner. And through all that, Bittner is still right there. Again, prior to the pit stop, Alan had a 1.5 plus advantage over second place. So tires certainly making a difference even over the course of just 1 lap. Those of you new to the broadcast that maybe were not here last week, you'll see in the timing tower the driver numbers marked in the yellow color. Those are your championship contenders. Again, they will battle it out for points from now to the end of next week's race in Atlanta, so that's going to come down to it. It's not a elimination style. It's a matter of points, so keep an eye on that as we roll into Atlanta next week. So Vaught continues to lead over Josh Bittner, Craig Goodenough in third, and now you'll see that pack of trucks starting to reel those top 2 in, that draft aiding them in that effort. Well, we have a chance here. Of course, our championship contenders, Alan Vaught leading right now from pole position. Dustin Eaton in the 4th spot. You see him there back in the number 14. Further down the field, though, Kyle Vaught running in 19th. He's one of our contenders as well. And the other is Tim Pope, right in the tire tracks of the 16. Not seeing the speed out of the 7 that we expect, but again, it is very early, and Tim Pope has been known to just kind of run laps, race the racetrack until he really has to put the hammer down and march forward. We're not quite halfway yet. Tim Pope certainly going to be a factor, more than likely, before this one's out. This battle here with Ricky Wittenberg, Kelly Kuhl, George Rincon, Chris Klein. 13th to 16th. Kelly Kuhl all over the back bumper of Chris Klein there for a moment. Kelly looking like stole a paint scheme from Mike Adamson. Just see how far this front stretch is. Huge. Rincon lifting here is going to let Gallagher go on by for a moment. This is now a battle for 16th. Rincon gets the wall a little bit, also gets the back bumper of the 123. Oh, Gallagher's going to pull down, doesn't realize Rincon was there. Catches it the last minute. Meanwhile, Craig Goodenough has just recently passed the 84 of Bittner. That's for the second spot. Go back and look at what happened just a lap ago. As you talked about early in this race, Chris, got the run out of the straightaway, got to get to the inside here, forces Bittner to lift just a bit through the tunnel turn and takes the spot.
Yeah, it's really just a textbook pass there going into that tunnel turn. That's the way you want to do it. Be able to kind of slide up in front of them on exit so you don't, kill your straightaway speed and kind of take the corner like normal. Being putting some pressure here on Allen now, so we'll see what happens here. He looks like he's got the tires warmed up nicely, but not too hot, and he's able to keep whipping.
On board with the 89 of Craig Goodenough. Goodenough faster that last lap. Last two laps, really. Your top 6 now down the back straightaway. Vaught, good enough. Bittner, Dustin Eaton, Derek Welch, Dylan Bryant. A little further back, you got Jonathan Osborne. Then further back still, Larry Dickerson. Top 10 pretty well separated, with these top 6 just about in formation. Chris, with good enough being a little quicker than Allen, but not really forcing the issue, could he just be running there behind the 33 to save some fuel to extend that likelihood of not having to worry about fuel later on in this race?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, down those long straights, you can run, 3/4 throttle, whatever, to help save some fuel, roll out of it a little early, just utilize that draft to stay with him. Definitely will save him some gas in the long run for sure.
Good enough, at least took a peek there inside the 33. And Allen's still going to get the run down the main straightaway. Ooh, Osborne gets the wall. So back out front, we're approaching the halfway point here tonight in this race, which means we're approaching another round of green flag stops, believe it or not. A lot of these guys came down lap 20, lap 21. Don't think we had anybody make it the full 23, but yeah, lap 20 to 22, that's the early window. Somebody should be able to stretch it at some point tonight for an extra lap. We'll see. That's the separation of your top 3. Alan Vaught, Craig Goodenough, Josh Bittner, not Dustin Eaton. Eaton now back to 4th. Little cloud cover starting to shade the racetrack. Track temp nice and cool, 83 degrees Fahrenheit. We're about 97, 98 degrees last night, so we're seeing some quick lap times here tonight. Not that we saw them last night. 54.11, the fastest for Alan Vaught, but we got a 53.87 out of Craig Goodenough so far. That's his best time. That's moving.
That's a fast lap. I think that's faster than anything we saw last night.
We saw a 53.9 in practice last night prior to qualifying, but only one driver made it that low. Derek Welch battling with Dylan Bryant yet again. This is for the 5th spot.
Yeah, I've been kind of keeping my eye on that, Steve. DW was fighting with Dustin Eaton there for a while for 4th. Just trying to get to his inside every corner. He just could not get it completed. I think DW starting to get a little frustrated, and Dylan was able to use the draft of the 14 to get to the outside and that pass on DW. So we'll see if Dylan can kind of get up there around Dustin, but being able to set up the pass a lot, like you mentioned earlier, like on a road course, being able to just set it up, take a few corners, and just kind of line it up, get that run off, and see if you can just maybe side drafting down the long straights or something like that to slow him down.
Welch right there to the back bumper of the 51 of Dylan Bryant, back to the main straightaway. Dave Mayberry and Kelly Kuhl are on the pit lane. Actually, Mayberry's been in the pits for a while. Kelly Kuhl in the pits right now. Looks to be a scheduled stop for the 01. Oh, Welch got in there deep, almost getting into the back of the 51. Checks up just enough. Dustin Eaton, I think, holding up Bryant as well.
And you saw it was a prime example there. Dylan was able to plant that on the bottom and kind of send it through the tunnel turn and close up to him, and then get far enough to his inside that just looks like he just can't quite complete it. And then DW is going to do the exact same thing that Dylan was able to do to him and use that draft to get to his outside here.
Punch and counter punch. No! Welch gets there, gets clear. I think it looked closer than it was, but still. Meanwhile, we got a battle for the lead really shaping up here. Alan Vaught feeling the pressure from Craig Goodenough. Now, Allen does have one lap fresher tires than Craig, but at this point in the run, they've pretty well equalized. In fact, Goodenough is about a tenth faster than Vaught right now. What do you think here, Chris? They're going to stretch this out here another lap or two?
I was just sitting here doing the calculations in my head. I think based on the last run, I think you may see Craig either pit this time or next time, and I think you may even see Allen try to stretch it if he can. I don't know if he's been able to save, obviously, with having so much pressure on him, but maybe trying to push it one more lap. But I think obviously he's staying out here, but I think you may see Craig and Josh Bittner come by this lap. Because other than Mayberry and Kelly Kuhl, I think Josh and Craig Goodenough were the first two on pit road, especially of the front runners anyway.
We'll be past halfway the next time the leaders cross the start-finish line. Will they cross it on the racetrack or in pit lane? That's the question. And Goodenough's going to come down and pit. So is Josh Bittner. Derek Welch will follow. Vaught, Bryant, and Eaton stay out on the racetrack. So does Osborne, Larry Dickerson as well. So it looks like we just got a few takers to start. Here comes Rincon and Gaines. Goodenough done it away, but Bittner's going to beat him out. Almost a half-second faster stop for the 84. Job well done by Josh Bittner, getting some track position with the pit crew. Now the leaders are in. Alan Vaught, Dylan Bryant, Dustin Eaton, Jonathan Osborne, and others. So kind of what we thought. Allen did stretch it another extra lap here. If he can do the same here in this next stint, should be in good shape.
Yep. One thing he did not have this time around was that big gap to second place. So don't be surprised if you see Bittner and or Good Enough kind of get by him with these new tires.
Dustin Eaton missed the pit box a bit. He had to back up.
I've been there. Happened to me last night too.
Fought down and away. Left side tire change a little slow on the 14. Eaton down and away.
I think Bittner and Good Enough are coming right to his outside. There they go.
So Dickerson and Wittenberg, they stayed on the track. They're going to come down right now. The top 6 still needing to pit. Dickerson will head down. Wittenberg will pit. That should move Tim Pope up into the race lead. He stays out. What a save job by Pope. His pit stop at lap 22. So he's going to get the full 23 out of this one, it looks. He's coasting through the corner. The engine's not even barely running. We'll go on board and see if he does it again here in the next corner. In fact, I'm going to turn off the driver. It's Tim Pope we're on board with. Watch the tach, the digital dash there. Should drop down to idle. There it is. Saw Connor Leach doing a lot of that last night. He saved a ton of fuel just to make it to the finish. Looks like Tim Pope's working on the same strategy. And here he comes from the lead. And Chris, you're right. Bittner and Good Enough out in front once Pope comes to a stop in the pit stall. So 4 tires and fuel for Tim Pope. Drops the jack and heads back out into action. Meanwhile, Josh Bittner, your new race leader over Craig Goodenough, Derek Welch, Alan Vaught now back in 4th, and Dylan Bryant in 5th. So, Chris, you pointed it out. Alan definitely did not have that 1.5 second advantage when he made his pit stop. So now he's going to be back there in some traffic. Not a lot, but certainly dirty air to contend with. May change up his driving strategy until he can get back to the race lead.
Yeah, and, you know, one benefit he does have is he'll have the draft. I mean, he'll be able to hopefully pull his way back up there. But with these other guys, I mean, even, you know, with 84, the 89, and even the 21 there, I mean, they've been fast all night, so it's not like it's, you know, the tires are going to make that much of a difference. So he's really going to have to work to get back around these guys. Either that or he's going to have to play a little bit of a strategy call maybe and try to maybe undercut them for the next stop and then hope he has enough fuel to make it.
Currently watching this battle for the race lead between Bittner and Craig Goodenough. Goodenough was right there. Goodenough to the inside out of turn 3. It's a drag race down the main straightaway here. Bittner has it by a nose at the line. Will he carry it down into 1? Just a few inches between these guys through the corner. Goodenough's got the bottom here. We'll see if Bittner will have the run down the Long Pond straightaway. Still side by side, headed to the tunnel turn. This is where it'll get interesting. Oh, up the racetrack, Bittner in the loose stuff. He had to check up, but not a ton. He's still hanging tough there with Craig Goodenough. That was impressive.
Yeah, that is absolutely tough to do. Now, one thing you notice it has done is right up on their tailgates now, and then it's bringing Alan Vaught and Dylan Bryant back into play here.
Top two right now have been side by side for the better part of a lap and a half. They're making contact, headed down to one, bumping and banging doors into turn one. Some damage on the right front of Craig Goodenough's truck, but he roots the 84 up the racetrack, takes the race lead. Derek Welch will go through as well. Bittner back to third, might lose that to Vaught here in just a moment.
What do you think, Steve? Culmination of some frustrations there from both of those guys just running side by side for that lap?
Well, somebody wanted the spot. It was just a matter of who was going to give up or get frustrated, and it seems like no one was giving up. Well, with that, 49 laps in, again, past halfway here at Pocono Raceway. We're going to step aside, get a track limits side-by-side break out of the way. Stay with us. We'll be back after this.
I met Marcos Garza when we were doing radiothons for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. We needed sponsors to help us raise money, and he's always the first one to jump in. I would describe Marcos and his team as upstanding, someone you can trust, and he is just a genuine guy.
Marcos has been very generous. He has a genuine concern for people. You need somebody that cares about you. And that's what Marcos is, and that's pretty much what this firm is.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Back at Pocono Raceway, 53 laps in, caution-free to this point. Knocking on wood as we talk about it. Craig Goodenought with the lead. DW in the second spot. Alan Vaught now third. Bryant and Bittner fourth and fifth. Seems that the contact between Goodenought and Bittner hasn't really hurt them terribly, though Bittner again has slid from the lead back to P5. He has kind of sustained that, but starting to lose that pack, so maybe a little more damage on the 84 than we initially had thought.
I think him being stuck on that high side for a lap or two, maybe his tires pretty warm as well. Just putting in more wheel to try and get it to keep out of the wall there. So I think you're seeing also a byproduct of some tire heat.
You know, dare I say it, we're already approaching another round of pit stops. Maybe the next 8 to, 11 laps or so, depending on who wants to stretch the fuel a little bit further. Are we getting into that territory where we're approaching our final stop? Are these guys set up for maybe having to go splash and go at the end?
Based on the math that I've been kind of doing, I think Alan's probably good. I think all these guys may be okay up front. It may take just a quick little moment of fuel save for maybe the 89, the 21, and the 84, but I think Alan and Dylan are good based on when they pit. So we'll see. I think it's going to be right on the edge. Nobody's going to be good for a green light check pattern.
So what did we say? Alan pit the first time. It was lap 21. He went 22 laps on his second stint. So let's just say he does that again. So that'll put him lap 65. So yeah, he should be good to go. If we run green to the end, obviously a caution would totally screw all this up.
Especially right now, because nobody's making it from here.
No, it's almost a moot point. Why bother? Other than a set of tires.
Exactly.
Spin.
And a caution comes out. Just as we were talking about
the
it.
Broadcast curse.
Mike Adamson in trouble. Toes it to pit lane immediately. Let's see what happened here to the 88. Puts us under yellow for the first time tonight. Oh, Kyle Vaught just dumps him. I mean, I'm not going to claim to be inside the head of the 16 there, but I don't know. That was interesting. I don't know, Chris, what do you think?
I don't know. I think it maybe a little bit of side draft trying to get into the tunnel turn side by side. I think maybe a little side draft gone wrong. Maybe thought that 88 was just a little bit further up. I know last night I did a couple times, got into some people trying to side draft, so maybe just a miscalculation there. I certainly don't think it's anything intentional from time. Being a little close, and just that was the byproduct of that.
Well, first caution of the night. We'll see who hits the pit lane here. I'm going to assume it's going to be everybody, knowing the amount of tires that are available.
Yeah, I think if you don't take tires right now, then you're just a sitting duck for everybody else that does.
So I guess now the question is, on that final pit stop, given where we are, this will put everybody close but no cigar. Do they take the chance and splash and go later, or they still put tires on in that last stop?
That's a good question. So we'll go back green. I think it's a splash and go for me. I'm guessing.
Or do you split this last stint in half instead of the splash and go, so you can get the full benefit of the fresh tires in that final run?
Yeah. You're taking you're not really even taking a chance there, I guess. I don't know how many sets of tires that these guys have left. I can't remember. Said the how many they got
It
over
was
the wall.
4 sets to start over the wall. They've got 1 set remaining if they took them every time, and I think everyone has taken them every stop.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a strategy call at that point. If you split it up and go half and half, you know that everybody's going to have to pit one more time, most likely. I don't think anybody's going 25, 26 laps on one tank. So if you split it up, you come out, you got the newer tires for longer. But then if the caution does come out, then these guys still have another set, and then you got a parachute on the back of the truck at that point.
Lori Vaught in the chat says, "Oh no, correct, Chris, no intention." Referring to the incident that put us under this caution for the first time.
Yeah, I've run with Kyle. I mean, we had good races last couple of weeks, and I haven't had any issues with him. I don't. None of that was intentional. I don't think.
Certainly not one of the drivers out there that I would point to as being a problem child by any means. So I'd be willing to give the 16 the benefit of the doubt there. So pace truck lights are out. We'll go back green at lap 60. That'll give us 26 to go.
Now here's a question, Steve. Can you remind me or see how long Tim Pope went on that previous stint?
I believe, as I looked at it, I think he was able to stretch it 23.
Okay.
And
even he.
It was 1 extra lap compared to everybody else, but he was aggressively saving, lifting and coasting into the corner. So I mean, it's 1 lap, but I can't see him saving enough to stretch this to the end. That's a big save.
Yeah, no, I mean that's we're coming to 26 to go, so I don't think that he's not stretching that either. I was just curious because I know he's really good at fuel mileage, so but I think we're still just a hair too far out of that zone.
Now again, another caution would certainly flip that on its head. Could get these guys to the end without having to worry about it, but now you got the question, if the caution comes out here in the next handful of laps, do you take that last set of tires sitting there on the pit wall, or do you wait and kind of save them in case you get one late?
I am bad at that type of strategy call. I always make the wrong call in that situation. For me, I'm saving a set to the end, but then caution never comes out, and so then you're running mid-pack. So I don't know. That's going to be a tough call if it does happen.
Well, here we go. Doubled up, ready to go racing yet again here at Pocono. Field through turn 3. Pace truck's going to make that left turn. There it goes.
Green flag.
There it is. Green flag in the air. A couple drivers in the wall off of turn 1. Might have been Dustin Eaton. Oh, there it goes. Osborne goes around. Caution comes out for that one.
Guess what you got?
Well, the caution a little too soon for anybody to even consider taking tires, but now those drivers that are good at saving fuel might be thinking strategy further down the road. Can they stretch it?
I'll be honest with you. If I'm anywhere outside the top 10, I'm coming in top off.
Yeah, might as well top off if you're in that type of position.
And you may even see the entire field do it. Who knows? But especially if I'm outside that top 10, I've got nothing to lose.
These guys are saving fuel. You heard Alan Vaught clutching it through the corner already. A bunch of hybrids out there.
And something sneaky tells me that we're probably not done with cautions. You bunch everybody back up together towards the end of the race, that aggression kind of pops off. And we'll see what happens, but I don't think we're done.
Well, let's take a look at it here just a moment ago. Caution number 2 on the night here at Pocono. Just out of room.
Yep. I don't think whoever that was on the bottom, maybe Chris Klein.
Yeah, it was Klein.
I don't think he knew that. Maybe didn't know there were 3 wide with Eaton on the outside.
I want to look at this again here. It looked like Klein just kind of held his line. They kind of meet in the middle.
Certainly Klein did nothing wrong.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I mean, Osborne either. It's just a racing deal, it looks like for me.
Oh, absolutely.
On a restart, everybody's tightly packed up, but let's cover the action here. Pit stops underway.
Hey, looks like everybody's coming in.
A lot of drivers do, but some don't. Craig Goodenough, Josh Bittner, Dustin Eaton, they stay out on the racetrack. So does John McAdam. So it looks like Goodenough, Bittner, Eaton, McAdam, Albert Anderson, Ricky Wittenberg. So your top 6 have stayed out. That's still a long way to go.
It is, but one thing that it does do is the amount of cars that stayed out behind, Goodenough, Bittner, those guys. That puts a big gap between them and Allen and other guys that have been, front runners all night. So those guys are going to have to push hard to get up through there, and we're still not technically inside that fuel window. So how hard do they push to get back to the front, to try and make it to the end here?
Well, you think about it, too, is the guys that stayed out, they had a lap and a half under yellow or so. Then they had coming up through the gears on the restart. Caution came out roughly on the backstretch, so there's fuel burn there. Now we got a couple more laps of caution. Obviously, they're not using as much fuel under yellow, but they're still consuming fuel nonetheless. When that fuel window is considered to be maximum 23 laps, it's going to be tight. I don't know that these guys can make it. I think they just might be out here gambling out of caution coming out again. And as you said prior to this one, we're not done with yellows. These guys might be realizing the same. It's an aggressive play, but I think the rest of the field went conservative here, but there's a lot of them that did, and there's a bunch that are going to come down and do it again. So what's that tell you there, Chris?
Yeah, I don't hate the decisions. So keep an eye on these guys. Jason Gaines, W, and Rick Dixon, those guys.
Again, about half the field's going to come down and top off yet again, just replacing that fuel they burned on one lap under caution. Just like that, Welch will be back out. 4.5 seconds of fuel for the 21. So if these guys are careful, I think they're good to the end from here if we run green to the finish, which I gotta have to agree with you here. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see.
Yeah, but on the flip side, even if we do get another caution, you still may have some guys that do have to pit again, and maybe they'll leapfrog them. Green back in the air.
Oh, Kyle Vaught in the wall. Always somebody hitting the wall out of one. Field through turn number 3 as Albert Anderson's going to come to pit lane. What is going on with the 99?
Can't believe he's serving a black flag for him.
I don't know if he got a restart violation out of this, or did he not get fuel in it? Stop and go for Anderson. 5.9 seconds in the pits. Unless he just got some kind of ulterior motive here with the strategy and the fuel. I don't know why you would have done that, but we'll see.
The only thing I can think of, Steve, is he was kind of back in traffic a little bit. I think he was running around the 20th spot. So with him doing that, yeah, he doesn't have the benefit of the draft or anything, but he doesn't have to, he can just go out there and just turn quality laps, right? He can just full speed it and not have to worry about checking up, lifting for other people and all that. So there's just some time to be gained there, and especially if everybody else has to pit one more time, just in case. I don't know. That'd be the only thing I could think of, but like we talked about earlier, I'm not sure that there's some that would have to pit again.
Well, we'll see how it plays out here with less than 20 laps to go. Craig Goodenough, the leader, Dustin Eaton, Josh Bittner, John McAdam. Remember, he had a problem on pit lane earlier, had the truck all jacked up the wrong direction. He has recovered to a 4th place position. Dylan Bryant in 5th. Alan Vaught mired back in the 6th position. But speaking of Vaught, the younger Vaught, Kyle, in the 16, running in 7th with Ricky Wittenberg pushing him down the straightaway. Kyle up from the 22nd starting position here tonight. Austin Paul running in the 10th position, and the caution is out again.
Talk to me, Goose. What do you got?
Trying to catch who it was. Kelly Cool.
That's some damage there. You hit something.
Here it is. Just smacked the wall on exit, and it sent him to the inside of the racetrack. Hard impact.
And we saw it last night, too. Same situation.
Might have lost the nose coming up on the 085. Little push on exit. Monster hit. So this kind of plays into the hands of those guys that stayed out during that last caution. They're saving more and more fuel here. And interestingly enough, again, not sure still the reasons for this pit stop by Albert Anderson after we went green. It was literally just the next corner, the last corner of that opening lap from the restart. Anderson came down to pit lane, stopped in his box for about 5 seconds. I don't know if they put fuel in it because there is no fuel man to witness putting that gas in. Obviously, when they put the car on the jack, you can see the tires change, but that's really all. However, this caution coming out has allowed Albert to get caught back up to the tail end of the field, so he's in okay shape now. And it looks like he's going to pick up a bunch of track position here with a lot of the field going to head down and pit.
Curious to see what these guys do, because I was going to, after the series of pit stops and after I went through, I was going to tell you what my situation or my decision would have been here. So we'll see what these guys are doing.
So, Albert Anderson, is he a genius, or was there an ulterior reason to hit pit lane? Because he's now in the 11th spot with this caution, and a lot of the field running down pit lane for tires, topping off the fuel as well.
So these guys that just pit did kind of do what I was going to say that I probably would have done here, is take these tires now. And utilize these, because you know you're making it to the end, and they're just gonna have to be patient coming through it. But I think these guys that came down to get tires, I think this is going to be a race-changing decision for a lot of these guys.
I mean, it really is an ideal time that if you've got that extra set, now is the time. You wait too long, you might not get the opportunity. If the caution comes out with 3 to go, well, great, you're going to restart 12th. You're going to pick up a few spots, but what good is it really going to do you? Now is kind of great because you can utilize it. You've got time after the restart to kind of get into a rhythm again, start making some passes and marching towards the front. Try to attack those guys on older tires.
Yeah, it looks like it was split about, roughly about half and half of guys that came and guys that stayed out. So next caution, 10 to go. If there's something like that happens, you see the top half of the field that's right now come in and pit, then they're going to have to do the same thing these guys are going to come back through the field to utilize those. So I don't know. We'll see. It's going to split the field evenly, but I think these guys that just took the tires, I think you watch them coming through it for sure.
Well, we're going to find out. Should be 15 laps to go when we take the green here the next time by. Don't panic. It takes about 2 minutes to get around here under caution. So if you need a quick beer or a snack, get it now. So the front row is going to be Dylan Bryant and Andrew Player. Some new faces here in the front row as we get ready for the restart. Then it'll be Dixon, Austin Paul, Derek Welch, Jason Gaines, Chris Klein, Greg Dobson, Mike Adamson, and Tim Pope into that top 10 here late. Told you he's going to be a factor. Now, with that said, Chris, you pointed out, Pope's really kind of at the end of those drivers that didn't pit this caution. He's going to have some fresh tires knocking on the back door here as we get going.
That'll be interesting to see what happens here. Pace truck's pulling off. Getting ready to go.
Green flag.
We got scattering drivers here. They're 4 and 5 wide through turn 1. I don't know if somebody didn't come up to speed or what.
I don't know how they made it through that. They were 5 wide at one point in the middle of the line.
Somehow they got it done. Oh, real loose is Gallagher. He saves it. Oh, a little bit of contact in the tunnel turn. That's a big no-no. Or that was turn 3. My bad.
They all look the same.
You know, as different as this place is, sometimes they do. Still watching back here in the top 20. Dylan Bryan out to almost a full second over Austin Paul already. He knows he's got to get checked out here, build as much distance from these guys as he can. Boy, is he doing it. Trying to play spoiler here at Pocono with less than 14 laps to go.
He's no slouch. I think he qualified pole here last night and led the first, I don't know, handful of laps, 4 or 5 laps. And Dylan is, gonna be, if it stays green, he's gonna be in a good position here because these guys with new tires still haven't quite made it up through the field yet.
Right now, Bittner is the first truck with fresh tires, and he runs back in the 9th spot. Now Bittner back 1.7 seconds. Certainly going to have the pace to get up there to catch Bryant, but he's got to get through all those other trucks to do it. Tim Pope also marching his way forward. He's up into the 6th position. Pope now trying to take 5th from Player, and he does it with ease, gets clear and sets sail. So not sure really what happened with Albert Anderson. He is off the pace again, back in 27th. I don't know if he caught some damage in that restart there. He was part of that. Truck looks reasonably well, so I don't know. And the yellow is out. We got a wreck. Oh, monster hit.
Man. Some big names in this one too, as far as from the front runners from earlier.
I tell you, I think Pocono Raceway can probably learn something from the profile of that safer barrier out of turn 1. Even from this, they need to move that. That's the second time tonight we've seen someone just wallop that thing. Well, let's get a look, see what happened. Really already happening here out of turn 1. Oh, Alan Vaught's in it. Backing up a little further here, looks like there might have been some contact here with Craig Goodenough, but they're already 3 wide, and Goodenough's trying to shoot it up to put it 4 wide. Got there, but a little bit of contact to the 33, sends him up into Gaines, Adamson, Chris Klein. Looks like Kyle Vaught might have gotten through this cleanly. Gaines goes down the track, clips Dion. What a mess.
Well, here's decision time. These guys that came in and took tire and did not take tires, they come in and get that other set here. I think you're going to see a few of them.
Welch is trying to play a little bit game efficient here to see if who would go. Craig Dobson's going to pit. I don't know that he's got an extra set. He's made 6 stops tonight already.
Yeah, I think if these guys didn't pit this time, I think that they've made their decision for the rest of the race. I don't think under 10 to go that you make that decision to give up the track position.
Gamble that might pay off here for Dobson. He had tires still sitting there. Might as well take full advantage. He can kind of run this out as hard as he wants to the end of this. He's going to rejoin here pretty deep in the field, maybe about 22nd or so when we get the restart. Dylan Bryant still out in front. Then it's Austin Paul, Jack Dixon, Derek Welch, and Tim Pope. Josh Bittner made it through that incident as well, and he did have the fresher tires there at lap 68. So we should get this restart. It'll be 8 laps to go, but Chris, just the way this one's been going here the last 20 laps, I still don't think we're done with cautions.
Yep. I think the aggression is going to be at its highest at this point in time. And I think you're correct. I think we're done.
Another thing I find interesting here, we're looking at the championship 4 drivers. Based on qualifying, I think it was Vaught and Eaton up front, and then Kyle Vaught and Tim Pope were the bottom 2. That has completely flipped itself upside down. It's Pope in 5th, Dustin Eaton and Kyle Vaught 9th and 10th, and of course Alan Vaught involved in that wreck. He's back in 20th.
Goes to show that it's not over until the checker flag's out. You never know what's going to happen. Got to keep fighting through it.
Still unsure of the situation here with Albert Anderson. He's back in the 23rd spot. He's made a couple of extra pit stops here. He's up to 7 stops at this race so far. Might be trying to nurse some sort of an issue. Unsure what it is. Through the tunnel turn here, entering into turn 3. We'll get the restart this time by. All right, here we go. Let's see if we can settle it in 8 laps. Green flag in the air. We're back racing from Pocono. Dylan Bryant on the gas. Field out of turn 1 now, cleanly. And the yellow is out again. We've got trouble. I think it might be Deion Jones again. No, Deion Jones is in the pits. Larry Dickerson involved in this. And he'll tow to pit lane. So just like that, another restart, another yellow. Might end up going single file here at this next restart. We'll see. Well, let's take a peek here. Larry Dickerson with an issue. It's outside Andrew Player. Player squeezed Osborne in the wall, which made contact with the 13, which kind of right hooked the 13 up into Dickerson, and the rest is history. It blows my mind. We get a caution for this, but we don't get that one earlier on that truck came right back up into traffic. Now, as this race continues on, obviously we've had a bunch of cautions here in the last 20, 30 laps. It's our 5th one of the night. We do have one opportunity at a green, white, checkered finish. Only one. Barney getting a little carried away with that yellow flag. And I think I don't know, what are we doing here? The whole field just kind of got antsy. We're still lights on with the pace truck. Well, while we have the chance here, we're going to step aside quickly. We're going to get a break out of the way. We'll be back with the restart after this. Stay with us.
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Pocono Raceway, half a lap away from the restart here. Caution number 5 wrapping up. 5 laps to go. It'll be 4 to go when we cross start finish. So let's see if we can get this one done. We do, again, as we mentioned, have a green, white, checkered opportunity if necessary. And right now, the way things are going, it might be necessary. Going to be a single file restart this time. Bryant, Dixon, Paul, Welch, and Bittner the top 5. Then it's Tim Pope in 6th, Craig Goodenough 7th, Dustin Eaton in 8th, Andrew Player, Jonathan Osborne 9th and 10th. First truck with fresh tires on board from lap 68 is Josh Bittner in 5th. Keep an eye on the 84. He was fast all race long, and now he's got a tire advantage. We'll see what he can do with it.
Green flag.
Green flag in the air. And Derek Welch steps on the line on Austin Paul, looking for the 3rd spot. Welch almost clear of the 3 down the backstretch here. Not enough to tuck in, and he's got to worry about Josh Bittner. He is right there in the mix as well. Welch can't get it done. Drives it back to the bottom, though, not giving up. Oh, big time trouble. Welch goes around. Caution on the speedway, and we're going to go to overtime. Meanwhile, Shane Haas in the chat. What's up? Hopefully your is going good. My race? Something. I think it's going good, Shane. Thanks for checking in. Kyle Vaughn involved in that as well. Let's try to unpack this here. Tough to say if Bittner went right or I don't know. Alan Vaught threading the needle to not get into the side of Derek Welch. What a move. I don't know, Chris. It looks like Bittner just tried to force it in there, and at the last second, Welch tried to shut the door, but he might have been too late.
Yeah, it's hard to tell from that angle. I'm not sure. I think if DW had moved to the wall earlier, then obviously Bittner would have been forced to kind of move to the bottom. But like you said, I think he just got his nose barely in there as DW was making the move. So.
Yeah, Bittner went right trying to give him some room. Welch just turned right and got into him. Late in the race, everybody's going for every inch. You got to kind of take those chances sometimes, and sometimes it works out, and others it doesn't.
Collected Kyle there. So that'll be big playoff implications there for him for sure.
Well, here we go. First attempt at a green-white checkered finish. Still behind the iRacing pace truck. Lights are still ablaze. Should get the one to go the next time by. I think I'm having a stroke, Chris. I was just watching the stream chat here, and I was reading something, and now it's gone. Oh, message retracted. I got it. Oh, but he was just typing in. Didn't know Chris was broadcasting. Yeah, Shane, Chris has been up in the booth with us here in the VRL for a little while, helping us out. It's been a nice addition. He runs the Num Thumbs Racing League on Tuesday nights, races there. In fact, won Pocono last night. Joined me in the booth here tonight. So it's been a wealth of knowledge, some fresh information, fresh knowledge from the racetrack the very next day. So it's been a huge help. Thanks, Chris.
Hey, no problem, Steve. Trust me, it's been as much fun for me as it has been, as you say, it's been good for you. I've enjoyed this every week, and hopefully we can keep doing it with you even into next season.
Well, you might have to be an in-race reporter. We'll see. Hopefully you can run with these guys at some point.
Yeah, maybe. I run with a lot of these guys, over on Friday nights with their league over there, and a lot of these guys are fun to race with. So maybe one day they'll let me in and at least run with them here. I'd be honored to do it, run with some of these guys. So we'll see. Maybe the cards will fall in the next couple seasons or something, and see me out on the track too.
Well, here we go. Working caution number 6. We're on our first and only attempt at a green-white checkered finish. The way this works, the green flag comes out after we've added some extra laps. Again, we're going to take the restart here at what would have been the final lap. So we've added about 2 extra laps here, so we're going to get the green flag. Then the next time around, it'll be the white, and then that'll do it. That'll be the checkered flag following that. Now, caution comes out prior to the white That's going to end the race. There's no second or third or fourth or fifth or unlimited attempts. It's just one try at it to try and get this thing in under green. We had a very solid race leading up to the latter stages. The final third of this went caution-free all the way to that point, but it's been a bit of a melee ever since. Getting 6 cautions here in the final third of these 85 laps. Shane Haas in the chat says he'll be back racing with the IROC series for ARCA in August, so that'll be something fun to look forward to. That series, that league, will be back on the broadcast network here at Track Limits, so stay tuned for that. That'll be Monday nights in August with a new ARCA car, IROC Challenge Series. That should be a fun one. All right, let's give it a go.
Green flag.
Green flag in the air. Dustin eating up the racetrack. A little slightly off the pace, but his opportunity at a win going out the door quickly.
Involved in that last caution there with DW and those guys, so he may have some damage that they're aware of.
Top 4 getting away. Josh Bittner not part of the equation. He has fallen back a bit as well. Maybe some damage on the 84 also, but out of turn number 3, Bittner with the race lead coming to the white flag. Barney waving at it. Final lap here from Pocono. Dixon right there to the back bumper, just about a 10th off the tailgate of the 51 as they roll down into turn 1 for the final time. Dixon, Austin Paul, and Tim Pope up in the 4th spot. Pope in a great points position. Again, just accumulating those. I told you he'd be a factor, and here he is in the top 4 on the final lap. Through the tunnel turn clean. Bryant's got to make one more solid corner and keep Dixon in the rearview mirror. Out of turn number 3, Dylan Bryant. No challenge from Dixon. He'll cross the stripe first and he'll win it at Pocono. Jack Dixon will finish 2nd. Austin Paul comes home in the 3rd spot. And I don't believe this, but this is Dylan Bryant's first win of the season.
I would have never guessed that, Steve, with as much speed as he's had all year.
It's been strong.
I guess he's just had some bad luck. I mean, I remember at Bristol getting, taken out while leading and stuff like that. But congrats on your first win there, Dylan.
Dylan will bring it to a stop here right at start finish. Underneath our drone camera, courtesy Whiplash Sim Cams. Nice top 3 photo there. Somewhat muted celebration, but he'll park it on the tricky triangle here at the start-finish line. Congratulations to Dylan Bryant picking up his first win on the season. We're going to step aside, get our break out of the way. We'll be back with our top three after this. Stay with us.
Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
No back into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
Need insurance coverage that's built for speed? Frank Yea's office in South Charleston has your back. Whether you're blazing down the highway, protecting the home you've built, or setting up a legacy for your family, we've got the coverage you need. Auto, home, life, fast, simple, and made for you. Scan the QR code on your screen now to explore all our services and start a free quote today. Lock it in, save it for later, or call us at 304-744-7700 to get started.
Back at Pocono Raceway, race 17 in the books, and Dylan Bryant picking up his first win on the season. Driver number 51 got it to the finish line first. We'll see if we can get a word with the driver of that 51, Dylan Bryant. Dylan, it's Steve and Chris in the Track Limits booth. You got a copy?
Steve and Chris, what's going on, guys?
What's going on is that first win of the season, Dylan. Congratulations, man, picking up that win here at Pocono. You were fast last night in the Num Thumbs Racing League, but you're a little bit faster here tonight. You take this checkered flag, man. How did you prepare for tonight with a 5th place starting position, kept it out front, and then drove it to victory? What was the strategy coming into tonight?
not to do the exact same thing I did last night, which was hit the wall and bend my steering. So, but yeah, man. I'm really not too good with strategy and stuff. But luckily, Team All Star, there's quite a few guys on there that are very good with strategy, and if it weren't for them, I probably wouldn't have gotten the win tonight. So.
Well, strategy help certainly is a positive thing, but you still have to have the pace in the race truck, and as you said, you got to take care of it as well. You did both of those things flawlessly. Can you set this thing up for another opportunity at a win next week in Atlanta to close out the season?
Yeah, I mean, having a lot of luck on my side, yeah, but the season hasn't been too great. It's just been ups and downs and stuff, and I'm kind of bummed out I'm not in the playoffs or that group, but I think I stepped it up a lot in the past like 3 or 4 weeks with 2 seconds a win, and then of course the road course, I'm not great at, but yeah, I'm actually excited to go into Atlanta because a whole bunch of people on the All-Star teams are fast there, and they know how to push and win, and of course win night 2, and so hopefully I can snag up another top 5.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to it, Dylan. Congratulations on picking up that win here tonight. You held those guys off through a bunch of cautions there late. Who do you want to thank before we let you go?
Well, first and foremost, All-Star Racing with Albert Anderson, Jack, Bert, and Jason Gaines. I know that Bert won't with us tonight, but Jackson, Albert, and Gaines helped me out a lot tonight, and so huge shout out to them. Also to Lori and Jess for doing this awesome league and stuff. And I won't technically supposed to race it tonight because I'm sick, and I think like at 8:48 I think is when I logged in. So yeah, a shout out to them. Just everybody in the league's great and stuff, and I can't wait until we finish up the season strong next week, and then we go into a brand new season. And then of course Steve, you and Chris, outstanding job in the broadcast booth with track limits and stuff on Wednesday nights and stuff, and I definitely look forward to going back and seeing the broadcast, and just seeing what everybody else is doing too. So yeah, and that's it, guys.
All right, Dylan, we'll appreciate the kind words, man. Again, congratulations on the win here tonight. Wish you the best of luck in Atlanta next week. Thanks for chatting.
All right, guys, y'all have a great night. Thank you.
Too. Dylan Bryant, your race winner here at Pocono. Next, we're going to talk to the driver, the number 48. Top 3 finish here, second place runner-up. It's Jack Dixon. So you can pull Jack into the booth here and get a word with the driver, that number 48. Jack, it's Stephen Chris with Track Limits. You got us?
Got a copy.
Jack, congratulations, man. I think it was 11th place starting position here tonight. Worked your way through and found yourself with an opportunity here late. One short, but second place not too terrible, man. How was your night?
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I knew I wouldn't get a good starting position. I didn't have any practice laps, and I know all the guys went to the practice on Monday, but I missed out for real racing stuff. So I kind of came in here with no practice and a little bit of experience, and I don't know, gamble worked out.
Gamble worked out for sure. Was there tire strategy involved here? I think your last pit stop was about lap 62. You didn't leave any sets sitting there, did you?
Yeah, I left one set behind the wall. Everybody else went back in on that second caution. That was shortly after. I just got my fresh set, so I kind of took the gamble to gain a bunch of spots, knowing there'd be more cautions coming. So ended up working out, but sometimes it doesn't always work out.
Strategy always abound here at Pocono Raceway. Very similar, kind of like a left-hand only road course, but makes it fun to watch regardless. Again, 2 very different races from yesterday to tonight. Different tire availability, different fuel strategy, but both races presenting strategy that really ultimately decided the victor here tonight. Second place for you, a job well done as we look forward to Atlanta Motor Speedway next week. Some people may not be looking forward to that place. It is the new Atlanta. It's going to be close quarters, drafting style racetrack, but about a mile shorter than most of the super speedways that we run. How do you prepare for that style racing out at Atlanta next week?
You don't. You just kind of show up, run your thing, and you just watch for the others. You got to look 3 cars ahead and be aware at all times. But that track moves fast, so you just got to be ready for the passing, the bumping, and the grinding.
Certainly looking forward to it, Jack. Congratulations again on the runner-up finish here in Pocono. Who do you want to shout out to before we let you go?
Oh, thank you guys for a great broadcast. You guys always do a good job, and the admins, Alan and Lori, for throwing on a great race, and of course my teammates, Alan, Dylan, and Jason, and Jeremiah sitting at home. But best teammates you can get, and shows why we can run 1-2, and feel bad for the other guys got junked, but I know they would have been up there for sure.
All right, Jack. Well, congrats again. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
Yeah, thanks.
Jack Dixon, your runner-up here at Pocono Raceway. Next, we're going to talk to the driver, the number 3, from 20th to 3rd from trackdogs.net. It's Austin Paul. We'll pull him up into the booth and get a word with that driver of the number 3 truck. Austin, it's Steve and Chris with Track Limits. You there?
Yes, sir. How y'all doing?
We're doing good, Austin. Congratulations, man. 3rd place finish after starting deep in the field. How did you do it? What got you up to the front here late to finish 3rd?
Just playing a little strategy during those cautions. Just trying to debate what to do there. Thought about going in and getting tires there right there at the end at one of those cautions there, and I was like, I'll stay out, takes my luck on it, and sure enough, it ended up working out.
Certainly did. A 3rd place finish again here at Pocono. A great way to get momentum into the end of the season here as we get to Atlanta Motor Speedway next week. Super Speedway style racing, but not really a super speedway size track. How do you prepare for that new style of racing at Atlanta next week?
It's tough. I mean, it's fun, but it's close quarters. It's kind of a luck of the draw. I think the first time we raced there in VRL, I ended up winning that one, and it was just coming out of 4 with a drag race against Kelly and ended up pulling out the win there. So I like racing there. It's definitely, it's a headache at times, but when you're on the right side of luck, it's fun.
Certainly going to be a fun one to watch indeed. Looking forward to it. Austin, congrats again. 3rd place here at Pocono. Who do you want to thank before we kick you out of here?
Oh, yeah, thanks. So I want to thank my teammates, Ain't Dead Yet with Ricky, Josh, Kyle, Pope, and the other guys aren't here. I want to thank my sponsors of Copperhead AI, Marketing Playbook, TrackDogs.net, and Authentic Self Therapy and Wellness. And then a shout out to my son, Dalen. So, yeah.
Got it all in. Austin, congrats again. Thanks for talking to us, and good luck next week.
Thank you. 10-4 Rubber Ducky. Have a good one.
Austin Paul, your 3rd place finisher here at Pocono Raceway. That'll do it for the interview portion of tonight's broadcast. Let's take a look at it here. Our race results. Of course, we talked to Dylan Bryant, Jack Dixon, and Austin Paul already. Timothy Pope, top finishing championship 4 contender, started very deep in the field. Looks like it was 26th to be exact. Top 5 finish and the highest finishing contender. Good job for Pope. Craig Goodenough was 5th. Andrew Player finishes 6th. Andrew Cawthon 7th. John McAdam 8th. John Gallagher was 9th. 10th, Greg Klein. Albert Anderson, still don't know what problems he was having here late in this race, but he still managed to squeak out an 11th place finish. Not too terrible, looking for that top 10, one short. Ricky Wittenberg was 12th. Mike Everidge 13th. Greg Dobson was 14th. Jonathan Osborne came home in the 15th spot. 16th, Chandler Paul. Stoney Benfield was 17th. Josh Bittner had a strong truck late in the run, but I think had some damage late. He'll finish 18th. Alan Vaught, dominant truck here tonight, couldn't bring it home. 19th place finish. 20th was Kevin Hunt. Kyle Vaught, another championship contender, 21st place finish. Dustin Eaton, our 4th championship contender, finishes 22nd. A tough night for 3 of the 4. It's going to make it interesting going into Atlanta next week. Derek Welch will finish 23rd. 24th, Chris Klein. Larry Dickerson, 25th. Dave Mayberry, 26th. Jason Gaines, 27th. Mike Adamson, 28th. 29th, Dion Jones. 30th, Kelly Cool. George Rincon was 31st. And last but not least, out of this one very early, Russ Kilgore will finish 32nd, 79 laps down. Those are your race results here from Pocono Raceway as we get ready for Atlanta super speedway racing next week. Again, very different style racetrack. Chris, you still with us?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Chris, I mean, I know you're going to get the opportunity to race there Tuesday night before we get on the air for VRL here on a Wednesday, but how do you prepare for that style of racing? It's relatively new to what we do here in iRacing or even in NASCAR in general. It's a different style of drafting. It's not what we're really used to doing at all. How do you get ready for that?
Man, Steve, I kind of want to piggyback off what Jack said. You don't really. There's not a whole lot that you can do. A lot of it is just trying to place yourself in positions and minimizing the risk that you put yourself in throughout the race. It's a lot tighter there than it is at, say, like your Talladegas and Daytonas. So you actually do see some off throttle time even in the corners. So with it, it's completely different. You just kind of want to minimize putting yourself in those high risk situations to just make sure you're there at the end and hope for the best at the end, really.
Well, we're looking forward to it, certainly. Again, thanks for joining me here in the booth here tonight, Chris. Always a big help and some great knowledge and insight from your win last night with an Thumbs Racing League. Thank you guys all for tuning here in the stream chat. Shane Haas, a name that we haven't seen for a little while. Good to see him jumping in there and saying hey. Again, we're going to see Shane running the IROC Challenge Series here in August in the ARCA car. Of course, the usual suspects. We had Lori with Albert Anderson, Taylor Provax, Chan the Man 72, of course. If I missed anybody, I apologize. But again, thank you guys all for tuning in for this. It's been fun. You're definitely my busiest stream chatter, so we certainly do appreciate that. But with that said, congratulations again to Dylan Bryant picking up the win here at Pocono Raceway. We'll see you guys next week at Atlanta. Thanks for watching.
See ya.